When looking at Black Clover and its recent surge in popularity, there's always things an anime or TV show does in the past that really helps lay the groundwork for something like this to happen. It's typically something that no one necessarily sees coming, or a moment that everyone loved but didn't really comprehend how much that specific moment was going to make the series they're watching transcend in popularity. This leads us to another Black Clover discussion, about a fight in Black Clover that did what a fight is supposed to do: tell a story. A fight isn't always about the action and or animation on the screen. It's about the characters. It's about what the battle truly stands for. And Black Clover's best element within its writing may just be its fights and what they stand for rather than the animation, which typically isn't anything god tier within the series. When looking at Black Clover in the Black Bulls fight versus Vetto, it's a fight that defines this exact point I'm trying to make. And looking how this fight incorporates all the members of the squad, at least in some capacity, I instantly started giving it a round of applause. Starting the battle with Noelle gathering up the courage to really try and use her ability with at least some control to its full potential. Or whether it be the main attraction of this whole fight, Asta, Vanessa, and Finral. This fight didn't try and bite off more than it could chew. It targeted certain characters to characterize while also having them fight in a team battle that made the most sense to take on someone like Vetto. By using Finral's portals and Vanessa's thread magic to organize attacks that allowed them to keep up with Vetto's speed and power that was simply more superior than their own, this was a great way to demonstrate power alone isn't always what determines a fight, and that's all a shonen fan can ask for. Something that's not the same old cliche every single fight. A fight that isn't always dictated by the same thing, but rather dictated by tactical strategy that includes speed and power rather than just being about speed and power alone. Strategic fights seem to give most fights their own unique remembrance, and is a reason that this fight is still in my head today. But not only for that, but also for what it did for the characters like Vanessa and Finral. As this fight continues, we learn about Vanessa and Finral's flaws, and what makes these characters who they are, and why they've ended up to where they are today. Through seeing Asta fight, we have Vanessa confess that she's never truly been a courageous person. She's always been someone who accepted the hand she was dealt, and never thought about truly making her own path until Captain Yami of the Black Bulls saved her from her prison in the Witch's Forest. She didn't want to remember her past, and the weaknesses that came with it. She didn't want to remember what it meant to be courageous, which demonstrated that Vanessa had gained that courage when Yami saved her, but also lost it again somewhere along the way. She became complacent, with being free and just being a part of the Black Bulls, and if it wasn't for Asta's desire to face despair head on, it wouldn't have pushed Vanessa to the extreme when she is fighting Vetto. But Finral was also a character that got directly established in this fight as well. As Finral stated during this fight, he's supposed to be the guy with no motivation to do anything. He's a lazy one that deemed himself useless and might as well quit while he's ahead. This being because he's supposed to be the loser of the Vade family, who was supposed to be the next head of the household, but was deemed unworthy because of how useless the family deemed him and his power, and decided to give Finral's younger brother, Langris, the position of head of Vade family instead. But even Finral's brother looks at Finral as if he's useless. Finral had no one in his corner until Yami also took him in, which we discover through Finral's flashback that Yami is also the person who saved him originally by telling him, sometimes the battles that we fight aren't always with an enemy, they're with ourselves. A quote that probably made all of us think about struggles that we've been through in our own lives, or the ones that we're currently going through. What allows us as people to cherish the anime series that we do is because we're able to connect to these characters in ways that we understand, or even ways that we don't necessarily comprehend in the moment. But Asta's resolve even had the Black Bulls refusing to back down and surrender their lives even after Asta's arms were crushed. Asta had erased what was the lazy Black Bulls in this fight. Vanessa can even be quoted saying that Asta is for sure going to make it to the top of this world because of his determination he demonstrated through this whole fight that was beyond a normal person. At this moment, we began seeing everyone going beyond their limits as Yami always tells them to. The moment we see Asta tell despair that you've lost. A beautiful and awesome scene where the music begins to play and the screen turns into a full-on manga panel that had me standing up out of my chair. The moment that this fight was building up to. The moment we, the viewers, had all been on the edge of our seats for. The moment where the bonds between the Black Bulls members were cemented. All due to this kid named Asta that had no magic but refused to allow life to keep him down. This was the moment where Asta saved the Black Bulls. This was the moment where Asta cemented Black Clover as the next big shonen.